Hey everybody, my name is Natalie Oliva. Today I'm watching Smokey and the Barbecue.
And what are we making today, Mama?
Smoked burgers.
All right, guys, like Miss Natalie said, we're going to be making barbecue smoked burgers today, and we're going to start by making our patties. Now, I kind of screwed up. This is lean ground beef. It's just over a pound. I actually wanted to get a fattier one, but I wasn't paying attention. I grabbed the lean one by mistake. But I do recommend getting a fattier, like an 80-20, just so that it doesn't dry out through the process. But we'll see how it goes. This is what I got, so this is what I got to use. Now, first thing that I'm going to do, and this is a trick that I actually learned from my mom. For about every pound and a half of ground beef, I do 1 egg. The reason for the egg is that it helps the patty stay together and it doesn't fall apart when you put it on the grill. And I actually do think that it works because when I haven't used an egg, they do seem to fall apart a little bit easier. And now to that, we're going to add our ground beef. No different than when I make steak. We're just going to season with coarse ground black pepper, coarse kosher salt, and garlic powder. So let's start with our salt. Just like that. Black pepper. And garlic powder. Mix all that up. Alright guys, once that's all mixed up, start making the patties. I like to make it to where it's going to be the size of the bun once it's done. So because it's going to lose a little bit of size during the cook, I make them a little bit bigger. So about the size like the palm of my hand. But again, it's all personal preference. Now that is a freaking burger patty right there. Alright guys, so now I'm going to go ahead and throw these in the fridge and then get the fire going. Alright guys, now for this cook, I'm going to set up for indirect cooking using my charcoal basket. Going to set a tumbleweed right there. And we're going to dump some charcoal into this basket. Give it a light. Alright guys, so it's going to take about 10-15 minutes for these coals to be ready to go. So my wife is making some caramelized onions, which I love putting on top of the burgers. So let's go see how she does it. Alright guys, the coals are looking good. I'm going to take my wood chunk and set it right on top so it starts making that smoke. And that is a chunk of hickory, in case you guys were wondering. Now, the one other thing I'm going to do that I don't typically do, I'm going to do a water dish. And I'm only doing it just because since I bought the wrong ground beef and it's lean, I'm hoping this will just help with it not drying out. It may not do crap, but we'll see. All right, let's go ahead and get the patties on there. Now these smaller ones, I'm going to put just a little bit further back so they don't cook too fast. Right there. All right, guys, as you've heard me say in other videos, when I'm doing indirect cooking on the Weber, I have my fire on this side and I have the burgers on this side where the vent is. I want that heat and that smoke to come up and over the burgers. And out of that vent, that's going to give us that nice smoke flavor, that low and slow cooking. And I have both vents wide open, the top one and the bottom one, getting as much oxygen as I can through there. Now, I'm looking for a total cook temperature of 155. I want to cook my burgers just a little bit more than I would like a steak because of the fact that they're ground beef. It's safer that way. But what I am going to do is probably at around 135, I'm going to take these burgers, put them directly over the coals so I can sear them a little bit. Then add some barbecue sauce and melt some cheese over top. So we're going to check on them in maybe about 20 minutes and see where we're at. All right, guys, we're just over 20 minutes in. Let's see how it's looking. All right, I'm going to add a few more coals. And I'm going to throw a new wood chunk on there. So we're only at about 124, so still got a little bit to go. All right, guys, so we are 40 minutes in. We are at 138 here, 140. This little guy, 147, 149, and 137 and a half. So I am going to go ahead and sear them. However, see how that wood chunk's on fire? That's going to burn it. So I'm going to have to get that wood chunk out of there before I sear them. And I can tell you guys for sure that that water dish definitely helped, because it's got some sweat going on there that I usually don't get when the water dish isn't in there. All right, guys, totally optional, but I highly recommend is adding your favorite barbecue sauce over top. All right, now I'm going to move them back over for a few minutes. Now, guys, when you're doing burgers like these, don't go cheap on the buns. Go with brioche. These are freaking awesome. I love brioche buns. So I'm going to toast them up a little bit. Put them right there. I'm going to cover this back up for about 10 more minutes. Now, guys, I typically put Colby Jack cheese on my burgers, but a good friend of mine told me that there is nothing better on a burger than a quality white American cheese. Look at that smoke ring, guys. Looks like a freaking brisket. Holy crap, that's good.
Absolutely delicious.
Yeah?
I'm speechless.
All right, guys, burgers came out great. You just really can't beat that smoke flavor, man. They come out so good. And the white American cheese was a great touch. And those caramelized onions, I mean, I pretty much just don't want a burger without them. It's so freaking good. If you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comments. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.